The King's brother, former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, has been seen leaving a police station after being arrested on suspicion of misconduct in office. He was there all day. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested after new revelations in the Epstein files in an extraordinary development without precedent in modern history. British police took the former prince into custody on Thursday morning on suspicion of misconduct in public office, having said earlier this month that they were assessing claims that Andrew had shared sensitive information with the late Jeffrey Epstein while serving as the UK's trade envoy. They've not said exactly what led them to this arrest, which comes after the latest tranche of emails released by the US Justice Department appeared to show that Andrew was sending confidential material to Epstein.
Great pleasure. You know our ambassador.
Sparking renewed scrutiny of the already disgraced royal. He's previously denied any wrongdoing and hasn't commented publicly on these more recent misconduct allegations.
Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest?
King Charles didn't answer reporters' questions about his brother's arrest, but said in a statement that he learned with the deepest concern of the news and reiterated his wholehearted support and cooperation with the authorities.
Good choice, that's a good choice.
I haven't done badly, have I?
Andrew became trade envoy in 2001. That position saw him travel the world, carrying a duty of confidentiality. He stepped down a decade later after coming under fire over his association with Epstein. Questions over his friendship have haunted him ever since. That's in part because of Epstein's conviction in 2008, when the financier pleaded guilty to state prostitution charges involving an underage minor and served time in jail. And yet the senior royal stayed in contact with Epstein, even after claiming in a BBC interview to have cut ties with the convicted paedophile in late 2010 during a trip to New York.
Now, I went there with the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together.
Emails released since then call that timeline into question, and Andrew's been dogged by a years-long crescendo of Epstein-related scandals and allegations. Late last year, the 66-year-old was stripped of all his royal titles and kicked out of his residence, and essentially banished from the monarchy. The same police force that arrested Andrew on Thursday on suspicion of misconduct in public office is also looking into allegations that a woman was trafficked to the UK by Jeffrey Epstein to have a sexual encounter with Andrew. That investigation is ongoing.
Well, you know, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. I can actually speak about it very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing. To see it and to see what's going on with his brother, who's obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, the king. So I think it's a very sad thing. It's really interesting because nobody used to speak about Epstein when he was alive, but now they speak. But I'm the one that can talk about it because I've been totally exonerated. I did nothing. In fact, the opposite. He was against me. He was fighting me in the election, which I just found out through the last 3 million pages of documents.
Just for the record, you've been on his private plane.
Yes.
You've been to stay on his private island.
Yes.
You've stayed at his home in Palm Beach.
Yes.
You visited Ghislaine Maxwell's house in Belgravia in London.
Yes.
You threw a birthday party for Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, at Sandringham.
No, it was a shooting weekend.
A shooting weekend.
Just a straightforward shooting weekend.
He threw a party to celebrate his release, and you were invited as the guest of honour.
Oh, in 2010, that certainly wasn't a party to celebrate his release in December, because it was a small dinner party. There were only 8 or 10 of us, I think, at the dinner. If there was a party, then I'd know nothing about that.
You were invited to that dinner as a guest of honour?
Well, I was there, so there was a dinner. I don't think it was quite as you might put it, but yeah, okay, I was there at a dinner, yeah.
With King Charles pledging full and wholehearted support for the cooperation and saying, quote, "The law must take its course."
Good afternoon, Your Majesty.
Do you have any reaction to the arrest of your brother, sir?
Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest?
Should Andrew Mountbatten Windsor testify?
Yes. Anybody who has any information should testify. So whether it's Andrew or anybody else, anybody who's got relevant information should come forward to whatever the relevant body is. In this particular case, we're talking about Epstein, but there are plenty of other cases. It is anybody who's got information relating to any aspect of violence against women and girls has, in my view, a duty to come forward, whoever they are.
And the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown has called on police to interview Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Should he voluntarily come forward to UK police?
Well, I think that's a matter for the police. They will conduct their own investigations. But one of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. And it is really important that that is applied across the board. That is the principle. It's a long-standing principle. It's a very important principle of our country, our society, and it applies. And it has to apply in this case in the same way as it applies in any other case.
It was such a mixed bag of emotions. I think initially we were like vindicated and screaming at one point at 3 a.m. And then, you know, it just hits you, that gut punch of the fact that she's not here to see this, that we're not able to call her and tell her how like astronomically proud we are of her.
You know, the first, as Amanda described it, the first gut reaction is like this just celebration for her. But then as the day progresses, like right before this interview, we went out and got some breakfast real quick because we got a long day ahead of us. And, you know, I just started crying in the middle of a breakfast. I'm like, man, people probably think I'm psycho over here. But
I think it's incredibly bad for the monarchy. I mean, you know, most people are not that interested in it. People under the age of 50 are increasingly hostile to it. And whilst there are people who are over the age of 60 who probably think that, you know, it's one bad apple, I think most people under the age of 50 think, well, why is it taking so long to come out? What have they been hiding? What questions, you know, what did they know when?
It's just, I suppose, a sign of the world we live in, where power has no responsibility, no ethics. And I mean, he comes from a background of corruption, being above the law.
I didn't think so, no. I thought he'd go into hiding and get away with it. Yeah, so, no, that's all I've got to say, really. I'm pleased.
I mean, I'm a royalist myself. I do follow the royal family, and I do support them. So hearing that from a member of the royal family is really, you know, it's the last straw, isn't it, really?
About time. Yeah, so I think, as the King said, you know, the law needs to do its job now.
I'm Irish, and we still hold a grudge from the Great Hunger. So he deserves it, he's a criminal. That's, you know, or at least until he proved it in court.
播报新闻是我的日常，必须时刻保持妆容和皮肤的最佳状态。当来到人生中最重要的时刻，也是 KS 逆时奇迹帮助我轻松驾驭，闪闪发光。KS 逆时奇迹活肤露全效精华、精华霜，多达5种 EGF 6大冻龄关键成分，保湿效果让我非常满意，小细纹也不再困扰我。我就是我自己的最佳女主角 ，KS 让我从容自信，光彩动人。我是我人生中的大女主，我的最爱我做主。KS 逆时奇迹系列热卖中，下单请上快点购，透过中天新闻网 App 下单立减50，或输入 CTI 推荐码有额外折扣。